What's good, everyone? It's Zach, and welcome back to Grailboundgaming for video pickups number 6. As you all know, last month there was a ton of Black Friday sales going on, and I figured it was the perfect opportunity to focus on quality instead of quantity for games that I wanted to add to my collection. So yeah, I'm super excited to show you all exactly what I was able to pick up in this video. So without further ado, let's get to it. Okay, everyone, so the first couple items I want to show are actually not video games, but they are video game related, with the first one being this little R2-D2 toy right here from Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith. Really cool. I was able to pick this up at one of my local retro video game stores for like $11 or $12, which is awesome. And yeah, I am slowly building my R2-D2 collection, so I'm very happy to add this piece to it. Okay, next item I want to show is the Silent Hill 2 gaming headset. In my last pickups video, I showcased a few items for the Silent Hill 2 remake, and I ended up getting the gaming headset after that video was made. So I figured I would showcase it here. But yeah, it's completely new, which is awesome. And when I do get around to playing Silent Hill 2 remake, I will definitely test these things out and give them a try. But otherwise, I'm happy to have it in the collection. Sweet. Okay, now I want to jump into some handheld games, specifically for the Game Boy Advance. I got 4 games here that I want to talk briefly about. The first one is codename Kids Next Door Operation Soda, as you can see right there. So I actually grew up watching this show on Cartoon Network, and yeah, I looked up a video on it, and it's actually like a side-scrolling shooter. Kind of think of it as like Contra, but for kids. So it's not a terribly, difficult game, but it's just really unique. And you can play as all the different characters from the show, which is awesome. So that's the very first game. Okay, so the next game that I have here is Hey Arnold. And this is actually based on the movie, which I think is really cool. Hey Arnold is my favorite Nickelodeon cartoon. I enjoyed watching the cartoon, even the movie growing up, and I just had to get the Game Boy Advance game. So found it for very cheap and glad to have it in the Game Boy Advance collection. And let's see, the next game I want to talk about is Dragon Ball Z, The Legacy of Goku. If you are a Dragon Ball Z fan, then you had to have picked up this game on the GBA. And yeah, this I believe only goes up through the Sand Saga. I don't think it goes into like the Buu Saga. But yeah, really cool game, really awesome game. It has some RPG elements as you're building the strength of your character. It's really cool. So yeah, happy to have this in the collection. And then the last GBA game that I want to mention is Disney's Lilo and Stitch. And if you're wondering why I picked up a Lilo and Stitch game, what's really unique about this game is that it reminds me of Metal Slug in that sense, because it actually is another side-scrolling shooter. But its style, in my opinion, is definitely similar to Metal Slug. So you play as Stitch, and he has all these different weapons and power-ups and guns, and you're just going through the level blasting like other aliens. So really cool. And yeah, there is a sequel to this game on the Game Boy Advance that I do plan on picking up at some point in the future. But yeah, happy to have that in the collection. All right, moving on to the N64. That's right, I was able to find some really great deals on N64 games during the Black Friday sales. The first one here is called Pilot Wings 64. So for those of you that aren't familiar with this, I mean, skydiving, jumping from planes, flying planes, you name it, really cool. So happy to have this in the collection. And then next is Turok Rage Wars, which has like a really unique multiplayer for it, like up to 4 players. So happy to have that. Okay, everyone, so the next N64 game is Armorines Project Swarm right here. This is a first-person shooter, and you're actually going around killing bugs. So it reminds me a lot of like Starship Troopers. So really cool. I was able to pick this up earlier this week, so glad to have it in the collection now. Okay, next game is Star Wars Rogue Squadron. I'm sure most of you are familiar with this game. Really awesome. Glad to finally have it. And then here's another classic N64 game, Wave Race 64. So cool. You know, I have the Wave Race game for the GameCube, so I'm definitely excited to own, you know, this copy here on the N64 and look forward to doing some really cool racing. It's awesome. And then, man, this is a really cool one right here. Doom 64. Look at that. Really cool. I was able to find this at GameStop, of all places, for a really great price, and definitely happy to have this first-person M-rated shooter on the N64 now. And the very last N64 game is actually a game that I consider to be a grail for the system, and that game is Resident Evil 2. That's right. That's right. Some of you may think that Resident Evil 2 just, you know, came out on the PlayStation 1 as well as the GameCube, but it also came out on the N64. And the reason I consider this to be a grail is just because of the story behind the development of this game. We know that with N64 cartridges back in the day, there was limitations on how much memory you could put on these cartridges versus a disc-based game like, you know, Sony's PlayStation 1. So the fact that Capcom was able to hire a different developer to port over the PS1 game and put it onto the N64, it's just mind-blowing. So yeah, I definitely encourage you that if you are collecting for the N64, this is one of the games to get. I was able to find it at one of my local retro video game stores. I had some trade-in credit and that knocked off like half the price. So I think I ended up paying like $23. And this game goes anywhere from like 50 to 60. So if you do see it and you can afford it, I highly recommend that you pick it up, because in a lot of ways it actually does some things way better than the PS1 version. So yeah, Resident Evil 2 for the N64. Okay, so those were all of the loose N64 games that I was able to pick up, but also I was able to find 2 complete in box N64 games that I do want to show with you all here. The first one is Turok 2, Seeds of Evil, and look at that. It is really nice, really well kept. $35 I was able to get this for during the Black Friday sales. And yeah, you know, I don't consider myself to be a, you know, CIB N64 collector, but if I could find some really great deals on some CIB N64 games, then best believe I'm gonna pick them up. So yeah, happy to have Turok 2 Seeds of Evil right here. And then the second one is 007, The World Is Not Enough, also $35, a great, fantastic price for this game. Man, this is gonna be a really cool one. Check out that artwork on the back. It's gonna be awesome playing both of these N64 games, and being able to own them completely in the box with the manual just speaks volumes to how amazing it is to find great deals during Black Friday sales. So yeah, those are all of the N64 games that I was able to pick up. Now it's time to move on to the one NES game that I did pick up. And that game is Monster in My Pocket. Look at that, right? So this was developed by Konami, and in this game you play as either Dracula or Frankenstein, and it's really like a side scroller where you get to, like, you know, battle other monsters, and these are monsters that are more common with like the Halloween theme, which is really cool. So yeah, I look forward to playing this very soon. All right, moving on to PS1. This is a game called Urban Chaos. I've been looking for this game for quite a while. I've only seen a few videos on YouTube about this game, but essentially you play as this rookie cop. Her name is Diari Stern, and yeah, she works for the Union City Police Department. So she's a rookie, and Union City is, like, you know, rampant with like crime and drugs and killings, and the story pretty much follows this rookie cop, pretty much like a day in the life kind of thing, where you complete different missions. You actually will go through the police academy, you'll get trained, and then you'll go fight crime on the streets. So really, this is like a law enforcement game for the PS1, really unique. I don't know if a lot of people have heard about this one, but if you have, let me know in the comments down below. Looking forward to playing this. And the next game is really an upgrade. In my last pickups video, I ended up picking up a copy of Alundra for the PS1, and it did not have the manual and the map. And surprise, surprise, I was able to find a complete in-box copy at one of my local retro video game stores. And let me just open it up here. Right, so here's the manual. Oh, super minty manual. I almost don't want to touch it, but Here you go, look at that. That is a really cool looking manual, and it's very thick as well. And then here is the map, which it's actually folded up. I'm not gonna unfold it. But yeah, I mean, honestly, to be able to find this game with the manual and the map is very, very rare. Usually you find this game either missing both, or it's usually missing the map and just has the manual. So the fact that this is complete is awesome. So yeah, I'm glad to be able to add this to the collection. And as far as the other copy that I got, I'm just gonna go ahead and just sell that off and just recuperate the money. All right, now let's move into some other titles here. We're gonna start off with the OG Xbox. This is the Exhibition demo disc. I really enjoy just collecting demo discs for consoles, especially when it comes to the 6th gen. So PS2, Xbox, GameCube, it's really cool to be able to find a demo disc. And Exhibition is basically the demo disc for the OG Xbox. So really cool. Let's see what games they have on here. So they have the first Splinter Cell, Panzer Dragoon Orta, Toe Jam and Earl 3, Mission Earth, Quantum Redshift, which is like a really cool racing game for the OG Xbox, NFL Fever 2003, Time Splitters 2, Halo Combat Evolved, Whacked, and Madden NFL 2003. And as far as like downloadable content, that was something that is very unique too with these demo discs, is that they come with downloadable content. And for this one specifically, it says Dead or Alive 3 new costumes. So that is really cool. So cool. And it is complete with the manual as well. So awesome. Anytime that I could find these demo discs for any console, but really for the 6th gen, I always do what I can to pick them up. So yeah, there we go right there. All right, next game is NBA Jam. You should all know about NBA Jam. It's really cool to know that they came out with a version for the OG Xbox, so I look forward to playing this. Now let's move on to the GameCube. The first game is Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. I am on a mission to collect all the Harry Potter games on the GameCube, and this will be number 2, the Chamber of Secrets. I still need to get, Sorcerer's Stone. I have Goblet of Fire. I need Prisoner of Azkaban, so on and so forth. But yeah, happy to have Chamber of Secrets, and look at that. It is minty and complete. All right, next game is one that's really cool. This is called Space Raiders, where you're literally taking out and shooting aliens. It's awesome. And it's made from the same creators as Space Invaders. This has been on my list to get for a while, and I found a very nice minty copy at one of my local retro video game stores that was having a sale during the Black Friday. So yeah, super excited to add another GameCube game to the collection. All right, now let's focus on PS3. This is a Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm Generations. I have like 3 other Naruto Storm games on the PS3, so this is like number 4. And yeah, definitely want to collect all of them for the PS3. Then there is Two Worlds. This is an action RPG. It's also available on the 360. But yeah, happy to have it on the PS3. I believe the first game is not available on the PS3. It may be available on the 360, but I believe specifically for the PS3, you can only find the second game. So it is what it is. Happy to have it. Okay, everyone, so the next game is actually a PlayStation Move game, and it's called Kung Fu Rider. This is a really wacky game where you are riding, in the streets on an office chair while performing Kung Fu to take out some different, mob bosses and gangsters. So really, really interesting and unique game. And I believe you play as 2 different characters. So there's the guy right here and then the girl right there. So you play as them. And yeah, this is also complete with the manual and disc. If you're looking to collect PlayStation Move games, this is very cheap. No more than $7 you should be paying for this game. So yeah, definitely look out for it. All right, this next PS3 game is one that I saw on Metal Jesus Rock's channel, but I think he may have had it for the 360. I can't recall. Anyhow, that game is called Nailed, and it's a really cool motocross, four-wheeler type style arcade racing game. So, you're gonna be, getting a lot of air, performing tricks. If you like the MotorStorm series on the PS3, then definitely look out for Nailed. It's pretty cheap. Definitely no more than like, I don't know, $10 at the highest. It should be less than that, but definitely look out for Nailed. All right, The last PS3 game that I have is Time Crisis Blazing Storm, and you can see it includes Time Crisis 4 as well as Dead Storm Pirates. I've been looking for this copy of Time Crisis for quite a while now because I do have the standalone copy of Time Crisis 4. If you looked at one of my game hunting videos, you can see that I picked up Time Crisis 4 at a pawn shop, but I've been looking to get this collection, you know, so to speak, for the PS3, and I was able to find this at GameStop for a really great price. And yeah, it is also complete with the manual and the disc. All right, now I did pick up like 4 Wii games, so I'll go ahead and show them here. The first one is called The Destiny of Zorro. Got this for $2. I mean, you know, Zorro is like a superhero. You know, he's a staple for sure. Everyone knows who Zorro is, and this is like a action adventure starring him on the Wii. So yeah, $2, awesome, and it is complete. All right, next is Monster 4x4 World Circuit. This is another arcade racer for the Wii. If you do collect for the Wii, and also don't sleep on the Wii, if you do collect for the Wii, I highly encourage you to you know, pick up these little hidden gem type style arcade racing games because they are so much fun on the Wii, especially with the controls. And yeah, this was also $2. Really cool. Happy to have this in the collection. All right, next up is Battalion Wars 2. Yeah, the first Battalion Wars, I believe, is on the GameCube, but happy to have its sequel on the Wii. If you like tactical games where, you know, you're controlling an army with its troops and everything, then this is definitely the game to check out. And yeah, found it, I believe, at GameStop, once again, for a really great price, and it's super minty. Look at that. So yeah, happy to have Battalion Wars 2, and hopefully I'll be able to find a really nice copy of the first Battalion Wars on the GameCube. All right, now this last Wii game, I knew nothing about, but at the bottom corner, I saw it said Xseed Games. And when I see Xseed Games anywhere, I have to pay attention to it. So this game is called The Sky Crawlers Innocent Aces. And yes, it is sealed, which I think is really, really cool. I found this at a local retro video game store in my area that I've never been to, right? It was my first time being there, and they wanted $5 for this game completely sealed. So I was like, I'm gonna pick it up. I saw Xseed, I'm like, I can't go wrong. After doing a little bit of research, it's really an anime flight simulator. It's actually from the same creators as the Ace Combat series. So if you're familiar with the Ace Combat series, if you like those type of games where it's more flight simulator, then definitely look out for this title on the Wii. And yeah, I mean, till I get a chance to play it, it's definitely gonna stay sealed, but I'm happy to have this in the collection. $5. $5 for this game, brand new. So hey, I'll take it. All right, so let's move forward and you know, talk about some maybe more modern games, right? The first one that I wanna go through, or really the first two, is the Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classics. And yo, I had to make sure that I double dipped. I am a huge fan of fighting games. I mentioned that on the channel before, and I grew up playing a lot of these games. So I told myself, hey, I am going to double dip and make sure that I get both of these games when it comes out. And yeah, I mean, honestly, when it comes down to it, let's see, there's 7 games on here. X-Men, Children of the Atom, X-Men vs. Street Fighter, The Punisher, Marvel vs. Capcom, Marvel Super Heroes, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and Marvel Super Heroes vs. Street Fighter. Really, really cool. So yeah, you get all that in one package. And yeah, I'm so glad to have this on the PS4 and the Switch. Okay, everyone, so I'm gonna showcase a few PS5 games here. And the first one is Yars Rising. I heard about this game through Radical Reggie. I think it was either on his channel or maybe it was during a PlayStation Collectors podcast episode. But essentially, this is a side-scrolling sci-fi 2D platformer called Yars Rising, and that's all that I know about it. So I look forward to diving in and playing it. All right, next up is Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes. This is the second Eiyuden Chronicle game And if there's one thing you should know about the Yuden Chronicle franchise, so to speak, now that there's 2 games, you should know that it is a spiritual successor of the Suikoden games, right? So yeah, I ended up, getting the first Yuden Chronicle game on the PS5, and I had to make sure that I pick up the second one. It dropped in price. I'm so happy to have this for the PS5, and I can look forward to playing both of those games. All right, next game is God of War Ragnarok. I've been waiting for this game to drop in price for the longest, and it finally dropped down to like $20 or $25, brand new. So yeah, I was able to get this at GameStop and very happy about that. All right, this next game came from Amazon. It's Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth. So yeah, this is the sequel, to Like a Dragon. And yeah, I look forward to playing this as well. I could have gotten this game, I believe, on the PS4, but I decided to go up to the next level and just get it for PS5 instead. So happy to have that. The next game is a well-known RPG, really a remake of a well-known RPG by Atlas, and that's Persona 3 Reload. At the time that I got this game, it was like $70. It had dropped in price. On Amazon, it was selling for $25. So I went to GameStop and did a price match and was able to get it brand new for $25. Awesome. So cool to have this, and I look forward to playing the remake of Persona 3. All right, next up is Alan Wake 2 Deluxe Edition. So it comes with like all the DLC, including the very first game. So I'm happy to have Alan Wake 2 now physically. This is a win for sure. And last but not least, this is one of the Game of the Year nominees. And I actually picked this up earlier this week. Black Myth Wukong. Look at that. Completely sealed, brand new. I put it in a case because I actually have this game digitally. So I don't plan on opening this game up anytime soon. And there's a little bit of DLC that is inside of the case with the code, which I already have. So I'm not really missing out on anything. But yeah, Black Myth Wukong. I'm definitely going to play the digital version and just keep this sealed for now. All right, so those are all of the PlayStation 5 games. Let's go ahead and move on to my favorite console of all time. And yes, that is the PlayStation 2. So we're gonna end this video off with a bunch of PS2 games. Okay, so the very first game is called Jam Pack Summer 2003. This is a demo disc series for the PS2, which is cool. The reason I picked this up is because if you could see right there, there is a demo for Silent Hill 3, which that I do own. So I just thought like, dude, let me just go ahead and grab this right now. And it has other games, The Getaway, Primal, War of the Monsters, Amplitude, ATV Off-Road Fury 2, World Tour Soccer 2003, MLB 2004, Silent Hill 3, and NBA Street Volume 2. Awesome. Okay, yeah. So that's Jam Pack. Glad to have that. All right, next game is Star Wars Super Bombad Racing. So if you enjoy, Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, then I highly recommend that you pick up this game. Even if you like the Star Wars racing game, the pod racing game, pick this up. This is like another arcade racing game set in the Star Wars universe. I know a lot of people like Darth Maul as one of the main villains, so there he is right here. And if you are a Jar Jar Binks fan, he's also in the game as well, which is really cool. And yeah, definitely found it complete, which is awesome. I look forward to playing this racing game. I've been wanting this game for the longest. I found it out in the wild a couple times, but it was missing the manual, so happy to have it complete now. Okay, so the next game that I picked up is Sega Classics Collection, and yeah, it is super minty complete. And as far as the games that it has on here, there's Outrun, Space Harrier, which, Space Harrier is the reason why I picked this up. I've never played it before, but I really do want to play it now. Virtual Racing, Monaco GP, Tant R, Golden Axe, Columns, Fantasy Zone, Bonanza Brothers, and Alien Syndrome. You can get it all in one package on one disc. So yeah, I'm definitely happy to have this in the collection. Okay, the next game is like a tactics game. It's called Future Tactics, The Uprising. And I don't know a whole lot about this game, but if you're into tactics and tactical RPGs, this is definitely a game to get. You can play as 18 different characters, each with their own personality. You're in like a 3D world where, everything is pretty much destructible. So really cool. Found this at GameStop. It is complete, I believe you can also find this on the GameCube. Not sure about the OG Xbox, but yeah, if you are into tactical RPGs, definitely pick this up. All right, another game that I want to talk about. The next one is Freestyle. Look at that right there, Freestyle. And you know, if you ever see any game with EA Sports Big, just pick it up. If you never played it, just pick it up anyway. So this is like a motocross game, over the top motocross game where you can do a bunch of different tricks. And you know, the reason you can do a lot of tricks is because it's EA Sports Big, over the top sports games, which is awesome. So I'm happy to have this for the PS2 now. All right, the next game is Gladiator Sword of Vengeance, where you play as this gladiator who's pretty much trying to save Rome. And it is complete with the manual and the disc. All right, the next game also takes place in Rome. That's Spartan Total Warrior. For those of you who played Rome Total War on the PC back in the day, this is from the same creators as that, which is really cool. And yeah, you get to fight different types of like mythical creatures, such as like a Minotaur. You can actually see the Minotaur in the corner right there on the front cover. But yeah, also complete, super clean. All right. The next game is, you know, definitely a Grail for the PS2, and that is Resident Evil Dead Aim. I know a lot of people really enjoy, you know, these light gun shooters, including myself. So the fact that it takes place in the Resident Evil universe is really, really cool. And yeah, it is also complete, super, super clean. Man, look at that. The Manny is like super legit and super clean. So happy to own this. And the cool thing is that you don't even need like one of those like gun con, you know, light guns in order to like, you know, play the game. It says on the back here that it also supports the DualShock 2 controller. So that's really the main reason why I decided to pick this game up as soon as I saw it. So yeah, Resident Evil Dead Aim. Okay, everyone, so the next game is a really cool fighting game, and it is Capcom versus SNK2. Look at that. So cool. I actually was playing this game a good bit throughout the week, and I've been having a ton of fun with it. Look at that. It's super minty, very clean copy. Yeah, if you like Marvel vs. Capcom, then, you know, you'll definitely will love this game as well. This is the sequel. I believe the original came out on the PS1 and maybe the Sega Dreamcast as well. Don't quote me on the Sega Dreamcast, but for sure it was on the PS1. And there's a version of Capcom versus SNK2 that you can actually find on the GameCube and the OG Xbox, and it's called Capcom versus SNK2 EO. So it includes like additional content and refined, you know, fighting mechanic controls for the characters. But yeah, I've been having a blast, you know, playing this game. It has 44 characters, insane, between the Capcom and SNK fighting universe. And you know, I'm into Street Fighter, I'm into the King of Fighters games, so it's only right that I was able to pick this up, and glad that I was able to find it. Okay, everyone, so the next game is a Grail for the PS2, and that is Scarface, The World Is Yours, where you play as Tony Montana, the OG gangster. This is really cool. I've been wanting to find a copy of this in the wild for the longest, and a very mint, nice, clean copy. And I was able to at one of my local retro video game stores. I had like $50 worth of in-store credit that was just sitting there, and then this game came through, you know, to be made available for sale at like $44. So I used that in-store credit and literally got this game for free. Happy to have this. If you haven't seen the Scarface movie, then just know that this game takes place right after that movie, which is awesome. So yeah, I'm super happy to finally own Scarface for the PS2. Okay, everyone, so the next game is a horror Grail for the PS2, and that is Clock Tower 3. This is complete, which is why I have it in this case here. And yeah, in this game you play as Melissa Hamilton, and she's going up against this like sinister group of enemies, and she has to survive. If you're familiar with the Clock Tower games, you know, when it comes to the characters that you play as, they're very limited in their combat and defensive abilities. So a lot of the time you're like running away and hiding. And yeah, if you own a PlayStation 2, you have to get Clock Tower 3. It is a must. It is definitely a Grail for the PS2, and luckily you can get it for under $100, which is awesome. So yeah, glad to finally have this in the collection. And then the last game The last game is another Grail, but it's an RPG Grail. I heard about this game through Radical Reggie. He's made several videos about this game, or in many of his videos, he's talked about his passion for this game and the joy that it brings him. And if you're wanting to know what that game is, it's Steambot Chronicles. Yes, finally I was able to get Steambot Chronicles for the PS2. I ended up using some trading credit at another local video game store when I saw this and was able to finally buy it. I'm super happy. It is complete. I definitely wanted to make sure that I protected it, so that's why it's in this protective case. It's minty for the most part. The only imperfections that I see are pretty much at like the bottom of the cover art. There's like some missing color there on the front and on the back. But aside from that, the disc is in perfect condition, and the Manny is like super clean and crisp. So yeah, the very last game, Steambot Chronicles for the PS2. Okay everyone, so those are all of my pickups from the Black Friday sales. It was just really cool to be able to just focus on quality versus quantity. And did I get everything that I wanted? Absolutely not. But that's how collecting goes, right? It's really cool at times to just focus on certain specific titles that you want for your collection, and I'm glad that I was able to do that. So yeah, definitely let me know if you liked any of the pickups in this video. Were there any games that interest you to pick up later on in the future? Let me know in the comments down below. And as of the release of this video, just know that this is my very last pickups video for 2024. Anything else that I do pick up will be showcased in the new year. So with that being said, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Until then, I'm out.